So both coins are that the junk and the American Eagles are not only are they very expensive, they're becoming very difficult to obtain.
Andy Schectman discusses the current state of the precious metals market, expressing surprise at the relatively slow rise of premiums given the high demand and limited supply. He highlights the significant increase in premiums for Silver Eagles and notes that the available inventory is limited to the 2020 series. He also shares concerns about the sold-out status of many precious metal products and ominous supply signals from major mints.
Premiums are rising, and we're getting to that point similar to what we saw over the last few years, where premiums seem to be rising on a daily basis or every other day basis. And it's obvious. In fact, I'm surprised they haven't risen more and faster than they have. The demand is certainly outpacing the supply. But if you look at any of the online companies, their premiums have gone, for the most part, straight up. And it is, I think, right now, just the very beginning of a continuing increase in premiums as this market continues to express itself. I don't see any sign of it slowing up at all. The two highest premium items you can buy, Silver Eagles, are approaching $17 over silver spot. That's about as high as we've saw them over the last 3 years period. It's as high as I've ever seen them. And all you're able to find really are the 2023s. And I don't know if you remember, I sent you an inventory list from one of the main wholesalers several months ago when we were doing something similar to this. And it looks the same as it did back then. We're seeing the sold out. We'll let you know when next is available, limited. That is a precursor of ominous supply signals that are being sent from across the globe to from all the major mints that are providing product to the main distributors who sell them to the industry. And that's not something I typically like to see.
Andy Schectman discusses how the market for junk silver and American Eagles is dominated by demand rather than supply, leading to high premiums and low availability. People are holding on to these items and not selling them, making them temporarily extinct. The trend is expected to continue, and the two items are the most expensive ones sold.
Junk silver has exploded again in premium. You're paying north of $11 an ounce to buy it. These are two things that right now are emblematic of where I think this entire market goes, and that is a market dominated by more demand than there is supply. And that's why they say there's no bull market like the metals bull market, because no one wants to sell back. And even though we can make a profit on this high premium, both buy and sell, and a rising spot price over the last several months, no one wants to do that. So if no one is selling product back into the marketplace and the mints are working in a less than efficient fashion, this is the trend that I expect to continue to see. But the two things Bill likes the most, junk silver and American Eagles, are by far the most expensive or highest premium items that we sell in anything that we have to offer. If this cycle starts to accentuate itself, no one's going to sell it for sure. And it's interesting because we had in January, everything softened up. You had everything we've talked about repetitively, where people were traveling and being able to do so unencumbered for the first time in 3 years, not wearing a mask, seeing family, doing all the things without worrying about a pandemic. Everything replenished, premiums came down, even junk silver. And then like that, it's gone again. And I think it is one of these deals where it will just become unavailable because no one wants to sell it. You can't pull it out. Really, what's happened through all of this volatility over the last few years is I think it's transferred into strong hands. And people that are holding it have no intention of selling it unless they have to. And especially junk silver, because the idea is to use it, God forbid, in a situation where that utility, that functionality comes into play. No one's going to sell it. So yes, I think it's getting to that point of at least temporary extinction.
Andy Schectman discusses the rising premium of junk silver and American Eagles, which are becoming increasingly difficult to find and are commanding high prices. He notes that the market is dominated by more demand than there is supply, and even though there is potential for profit, no one wants to sell. The U.S. Mint's production is also questioned, as their output is significantly lower than in the past, causing speculation about their silver stockpiling.
It's a very interesting perspective, and he was doing this long before it made sense to anyone, myself included, in terms of it having this huge appeal. And so in that respect, all of his clients who are sitting on a very large stash of junk silver are sitting in the catbird seat. So, you know, what used to be 75 cents has appreciated by over 10 bucks an ounce premium wise or more. And it is becoming literally impossible to find. So the premium should only go higher and higher. And that also means the bid premiums people decide to sell, we'd be happy to buy it, and at very high premiums as well. The crazy thing about that trade as well is that the premiums at the time were about $12.50. They're up 50% now from where they were then.
And spots higher.
Yeah, and so it's a situation, and I still can't wrap my head around what's going on at the US Mint, because for 3 years it's been this way, where for 30 years, the difference between an Eagle and all the other 5 major mints, the Kangaroo, the Philharmonic, the Britannia, at most $1, 75 cents. And now it's 12 bucks.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and it has shown no sign of abating. And even Janet Yellen getting on the US Mint webpage saying, we've ramped up production, we're ready to go. And yet they're producing roughly 25% of what they've shown in the past they're able to do. It lends itself to speculation, like, what are they doing? Are they stockpiling silver? There should be no reason that I can get coins from South Africa, Australia, Austria, the United Kingdom, and for easily, much more easily, and for 12 bucks an ounce less than the US Eagle. So both coins are the junk and the American Eagles are, not only are they very expensive, they're becoming very difficult to obtain.
Andy Schectman discusses the fragility of the precious metals industry and the difficulty in obtaining American Eagles due to limited supply and long wait times for future allocations. He also notes the potential for a mass awakening by the public, leading to an even greater shortage of precious metals.
I would think a good amount in American Eagles. I don't know how fast I'd get them, because we did a second order for about the same amount right after a different client, and she did buy some silver Eagles, but we were taking allocations that were 2 months out, where the US Mint promises these distributors, yeah, there'll be a June A and a June B allocation. You're getting twice a month, and 2 in July. And so we were going all the way out into future allocations to get them. When we did that order for Bill, it was the 1st or 2nd of July. We had it done before the July 4th holiday. That environment is gone. I could fill it in other items, but to fill it in junk silver and in American Eagles, it would be just a very small fraction of what I could do. And when you start doing an order like that and say, yeah, I can do the Eagles right now, you're not going to get them until June or July. Fully filled, we'll get as much as we can now, and then every 2 weeks until then, people will be like, I'm a little sketchy about that. That shows the fragility of this industry, where, look, companies are going to do $1 billion a year in this industry or more, but that doesn't speak, that's over the span of 12 months. You try to get a big order in the door all at once, you're going to run into problems. And if all of a sudden you have a mass awakening by the public that all tries to run through the door at once, it's over just like that. This is what I've been saying for a long time, and I've talked with you about and on your show for a long time. I've talked about a market that will ultimately define itself with no product. And Bill and I were talking last night over a beer or two with my wife, and the question came up, and his answer, without talking to me about it, was exactly the same, is that what puts us out of business is there's no product.
As we come to the end of this video, I hope you found it informative and thought-provoking. If you have any thoughts or questions about the topics discussed in this video, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest content. See you in the next one.